You know, sometimes it's the smallest mistake that changes everything. For the infamous outlaws Bonnie and Clyde, it was forgetting a single roll of film. That one little slip-up, well, it's what made them legends, and it's also what sealed their fate. Let's get into it.
All right, so let's set the scene. It's April 13th, 1933, and what you're looking at here, this is a quiet little garage apartment in Joplin, Missouri. But just moments before this picture was taken, it was the scene of an absolutely brutal shootout. And when the smoke finally cleared, the killers, they were gone. The infamous Barrow gang, they'd managed to slip away yet again. But here's the thing, they left in such a hurry that they left pretty much everything behind. And buried in all that chaos, police found something. Something that would completely change the game. Just a simple camera with a roll of film still inside. So what exactly did they find? Well, when the police went through that apartment, they hit the jackpot. It was like a treasure trove of evidence, giving them this incredible snapshot of the gang's life. I mean, look at this list. You've got high-powered weapons, including a Browning automatic rifle. That's military-grade stuff. Stolen diamonds, pardon papers for Clyde's brother, Buck, even a handwritten poem by Bonnie Parker herself. But out of all of this, the most important thing, the thing that would really define their story, was that roll of film. Okay, so that raises a pretty big question, right? How in the world did some of the most wanted criminals in America end up hiding out in a quiet little neighborhood like this one? Well, for about 12 days that April, this was the crew. You had Clyde and Bonnie, of course, then Clyde's older brother Buck and his wife Blanche, plus a young guy named W.D. Jones. For them, this apartment was just a place to lay low, and it was a rare chance for the two Barrow brothers to actually be together. The problem was they weren't very good at laying low. The neighbors started noticing things: loud late-night card games, cars coming and going with license plates from different states, and then there was an accidental gunshot inside the apartment. That was pretty much the last straw. The neighbors got spooked, called the cops, and told them they thought they had a bunch of bootleggers next door. And that one phone call, well, it set off a chain of events that led to a violent, bloody showdown that no one saw coming. So take a look at this police diagram. You can see how 5 officers approached the apartment. They thought they were just there to bust some bootleggers, maybe serve a warrant. They had absolutely no idea who they were about to walk in on, or the kind of firepower waiting for them. The whole thing was over in a matter of seconds. Just bam. The gang opened up with everything they had, and the result was devastating. 2 officers were gunned down. Detective Harry McGinnis died from his wounds a few hours later, and Constable J.W. Harriman was killed right there on the spot. This was a really dark turning point. It was the first time the Barrow gang had killed more than one police officer in a single shootout. And of course, the newspapers went wild. Headlines like this one from the local paper just screamed off the page. This is really where their reputation as absolutely ruthless, cold-blooded killers started to solidify in the public's mind. So the shootout made them infamous for being violent, but ironically, it's what they left behind that made them famous. So yeah, let's get back to that camera. So what was on that film? The police gave the roll to the Joplin Globe to develop, and what came back? Well, nobody could have predicted it. The images were just stunning. Because they weren't your typical mugshots of grim, hardened criminals. No way. These were candid shots. They showed this young couple just playing around, posing with their guns in their car like they were movie stars on a film set. It created this weirdly glamorous folk hero image that people just ate up. And this photo right here, became instantly iconic. Bonnie Parker, with her foot propped up on the bumper, a cigar clenched in her teeth, holding a pistol. This single image is what created the entire myth of Bonnie the Gun Moll. But here's where we get to the myth versus the reality. That whole cigar-chomping gunfighter image, it wasn't real. The cigar was a total gag, just a prop for a funny picture. And while she was definitely an accomplice, a lot of historians agree that Bonnie probably never even fired a shot during their entire crime spree. The photo was pure theater. So you see, these photos were a real double-edged sword. They launched Bonnie and Clyde into stardom, but at the very same time, they signed their death warrant. Let's break that down. On one side, you have the myth. These playful pictures made them into household names, almost like romantic heroes to a public desperate for distractions. But then there's the reality for law enforcement. For the cops, these photos were a gold mine. For the first time, they had clear, identifiable pictures of their targets. They could even see the license plate on the car. And that right there was the turning point. Before these photos, the Barrow Gang were mostly a Texas problem. After the photos hit newspapers all over the country, they became national fugitives. The manhunt went into overdrive because now every cop in America knew exactly who to look for.
And from that point on, the clock was ticking. You can see how fast things unraveled. The Joplin shootout was in April. By July, Clyde's brother Buck was dead. By November, W.D. Jones was caught. And then, just about a year after those photos were found, it was all over. Bonnie and Clyde were ambushed and killed in Louisiana. That trail of evidence from Joplin led straight to this.
So it really makes you wonder, right? How different would history be if Clyde had just remembered to grab that camera? It's pretty wild to think about. That one forgotten roll of film created this myth that we're still talking about today, but it also guaranteed that the people in the photos wouldn't be around to see it.